You gonna close the door? Or?
Hey, don't make any noise, bitches. We're in here vacuuming. It's gonna get warm. It's gonna get toasty.
Means we might have to get naked.
Yeah, well, you know. I'll still have my scarf.
I'll still have my hair.
This episode of MDP Sessions is brought to you by Vegemite,
There you go. Right?
I'm actually
the salty treat that keeps giving back.
should have grabbed the jar.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they need our help advertising, and I don't know that they're going to be marketing anytime soon in the United States.
I might get a sponsorship deal out of them. So
Yeah. Well,
Gotta
there's
apply.
nothing wrong with trying for that because every little bit helps for sure.
Exactly.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. We're live. MDP Sessions, Down Under style. Greg, Flash, McIvers.
Thank you. Yay!
And then
I'm hungover.
the fucking weirdo in the leather hat.
I'm channeling my inner Ozzy right now.
He's
You know,
trying to hide
Throw
the
some
camera.
shrimp on the bobby, mates.
That's not a knife.
It's not a shrimp. It's a fucking prawn.
This is a knife. Oh, so Craig is in town visiting us from Australia, getting all kinds of Americana in. And so we thought this is he is an order member, so we thought this was a great opportunity to sit down and get to learn more about him.
Uh-oh.
So here we go. We're going to start off with Flash. Tell us a little about yourself. Where'd you come from?
Australia, mate.
Oh, shit.
It's going to be one of those sessions.
Yeah, it's one of those sessions.
We're going to need subtitles on this motherfucker.
Born and bred down in a place called Gippsland. Well, the town is actually Moe. Some people call it, because it's actually spelled M-O-E, they actually refer to it as moccasins on everyone.
Okay.
So that type of thing.
Got your little acronym to remember it?
Yeah. So it's a small country area. It's a place where I grew up, moved away for a little while, ended up moving back.
Mm-hmm.
Spent all but 5 years of my life there. It's just it's a quiet town. It's had its moments. It's had bad press in the past and that type of thing. But
Haven't we all?
yeah, sort of.
All right, well, me and Rocky have definitely had some
Definitely,
bad press. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so no, it's a quiet little spot. We're only about 2 hours maximum out of Melbourne, hour and a half to 2 hours out of Melbourne, depending on how fast you're driving.
So what do you do in Australia? What?
Well, she's I own a computer store, so computer technician. I also do. I have a paintball store attached to that computer store, so I'm also selling online paintball gear. President of a paintball club in the same town, and our field is unique because it's actually cancer land. So we actually set up the field. At the moment, we're setting up the field on a actual old soccer ground. So she's a completely dead flat green soccer ground.
Nice. Good place to work with, right?
Yeah. The only problem with it is at the moment, and it's hopefully going to change because I'm about to have some more meetings with them, is that we're looking to we have to set it up and then pull it down. So you think of World Cup with about 9 guys setting up a field with the poles, the whole friggin' lot, then pulling them down again and packing them away in the clubhouse after everything. So we set it up. We start Wednesday to set up for the Saturday's play.
Hey, talking to that microphone.
Sorry. And pull it down on Sunday.
You can see yourself right here. Try and stay up in this neighborhood.
That neighborhood, is that better?
There you go. That's
there
perfect.
you go.
There you go. That's right where we want to be.
There you go.
People-
Mic practice. The quick brown fox jump over the lazy dog. The quick brown.
I get yelled at all the time. You guys weren't talking into the microphones. It was too low. Blah blah blah. Yeah, well,
It looks like a big
well,
right there.
so I would think you'd want that right in your face.
Exactly.
Or maybe you want it somewhere else.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
So since
Well, they reckon I talk Andy.
yeah, you shut up.
Yeah.
Since we're on the subject of paintball, and let's
Yeah.
go ahead and just get fucking paintball out of the way. We're going
Right.
to talk about that shit. Explain some of the differences because you've actually played in the States,
Yes.
and you've played in Australia, and there's a
Yes.
lot of differences playing here, playing there.
Hell of a
So
lot.
let's go over some of that.
For starters, like our paintball markers or guns are actually classed as an actual firearm. So we actually have firearms licenses for paintball. In the state of Victoria, where I live, we've only just, actually 2 years ago, we got it passed that it was legal to play paintball from the age of 16 instead of 18. Until then, it was the age of 18. And only about a month and a half ago, we actually got it passed and got it through that we could actually use ramping. Until then, it was semi-automatic only.
Oh, wow.
So when us in Victoria would go play interstate, say in New South Wales, it was allowed ramping, we had to try and adjust to their style, because with ramping, you can sit there behind that stream and run your ass off. With us, it's, you better pull the trigger.
Trigger work has become a lost skill. It's really sad. Yeah.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing. My first ever paintball thing I ever played was as a rental, of course, like everyone else. I started off was back in 1994. So,
right on.
Yeah,
so you've been doing it a little while.
24
years.
Yeah. So,
so you started when you were like 9.
Exactly. Below the legal age limit. Exactly.
Well, that's got to be hard to recruit and hard to like try and build the sport if you can't even start playing until you're an adult. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be really tough.
We were lucky to actually get it down to 16. We're hoping that they'll see that by lowering it to 16 that it hasn't affected anything or made it so it's for some reason people seem to think that paintball's still dangerous, and it's not. You can show them the figures. There's no injuries, that type of thing. We wear the goggles. We do all the right thing.
Comparatively speaking, no, it is not. Yeah.
So we want to later on. We'd probably try and maybe talk to them again about. I would like it to see it. I'm happy to see it at 14. I'm happy to sign off on 14 and be done for other people to say, oh no, get it to 12. No, I'm happy with 14. My theory is with kids growing up as teenagers, they get into like they're playing football or soccer or hockey or anything like that or baseball, and roughly around the ages of 14 to 15, they realise they haven't got like that sporting talent. So what happens is that they slowly start dropping off that sport. So they go, it's now getting too serious, because these guys are, they train and all that type of thing. I'm not into that type of thing. I want to capture those kids that are dropping off all these other sports and try and lure them to paintball, because if they can jump on at the age of 14, because right now we've got a gap of, say, for instance, 14 or 15 when they're dropping off to 16 when they can play paintball. In that year to year and a half, 2 year span, they're losing interest in all types of sport, and they're just hanging around the streets and getting in friggin' trouble. And if we can capture some of that youth and keep them on the straight and narrow,
start molding it, and it's perfect time.
Because with paintball, because you need a paintball marker license, you need to have a clean police record. As my son Tanner has hung around the team since 2010. He's come to every training with us. He's come to every event with us. He was underage. Technically, he was not allowed to touch a paintball marker that was on the table or anything like that, but he could go out and pod for us and all that type of thing. And he'd sit on the sidelines and watch. I just kept on thumping into his head. If you want to ever walk out in this field and play paintball with me, you need to pull your head and not get in trouble.
Gotta have your shit together, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and he knows that. He's now 16, and he's now out there playing for his first year and that. He's played with me a couple of times now, which is really cool. It's great standing on the start gate for your son.
And that's amazing.
And he's doing really well. He's actually picked it up really good, because for 5 years or 6 years, he stood on the sideline watching us play and train every weekend. He knows the moves. He's
been living ambiguously through you guys, and he's ready for it.
Watching it. Yeah. So he seemed to have picked up a lot of things really fast.
Nice.
Which is good.
What's the expense of, let's say, what's a box of paint cost in Australia? In comparison.
Okay, if you're going to, it's not really that much different. Like I know out here, if you go buy training paint, it's really cheap.
Yeah, it's $30-40.
Yeah, no. Out there, you're looking around $75-$85
for training paint.
Training paint, which is still virtually the same paint as you are for tournament grade. So you're going to go out there. Depending on the tournament, there's anywhere between $85 to $105 per box.
Well, there's also a price discrepancy in gear as well, right? I mean, like because of the VATs and everything. Like I think there's a gun in there. Like what would that thing cost new? And I think that's an M2 in there or something like that.
M2s has just gone off. But if you say, for instance, all we do is we look at the map price of whatever it is. So say, for instance, a gun is like $1,500-$1,600 US. We just do the straight conversion of what it is and add probably about $100 on just to cover the importing and the freight and shit like that. So we try and keep it at the same. We try and make it not tempting for someone in Australia to then go on another website in America and buy a gun and try and import it
try
themselves.
and ship it on their
Yeah,
own.
yeah. So if they work it out and go, oh, this shit, there's no difference. I may as well buy it from the local guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because at the moment there's in Australia, and I don't know why it is. A lot of people seem to think they would rather buy off a big name company that sells multiple products in the US than they would to buy from an Australian company. You've got three or four major people selling paintball
Because
gear in Australia.
Australians are dodgy. They were founded by fucking criminals.
Exactly,
That's
we're
what it
criminals,
is.
and anything for a cheap event.
Now, do you have any paint manufacturers down there? Or
No,
is it all imported?
all imported. Yeah, I don't think we've got the correct climate for making paintballs down there. So you got all your major brands. Some work in some areas of Australia, and some don't. Up in Queensland, they're shooting paint that I would consider punter paint. Yeah, as in, do you call it punters out here? No, you don't. New people.
Newbies. Yeah.
Newbies, we call them punters.
Okay.
So virtually, yeah. So they'd be shooting. For instance, GI 3-star. I shouldn't mention names, but anyway, GI 3-star, GI 2-star, something like that. But up in the warmer climates, that paint's shooting really good.
Okay.
You give them 5-star or 4-star and that's just bouncing off everyone up there because of the humidity and that type of thing. Bring it down to Victoria, and they're just like marbles type thing. So,
well, you got a country with only 30 million people in it. How many paintball players are there? Really? I mean,
not enough.
Could you even imagine to guess? Is there 100,000 paintball players in the country?
No, I don't believe there is.
No, okay.
I don't think it's anywhere near that. I'd probably say 10.
Yeah, and see, that's hard to support a market on 10,000 people.
10, 15.
Well,
To be
you
realistic.
have like Super 7 down there.
Super 7s, yep.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that play are diehard. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
They have a very strong following.
Yeah.
And you have some weird stuff, even with gameplay rules, like you're supposed to touch your head or some shit.
Yeah, hand on head as you're walking off.
You got to do the hokey pokey, or one of your other teammates will get kicked off, or some shit like that.
Keep your mouth shut when you're walking off and all that type of thing. So yeah, we like a lot of the refs and some have become more relaxed with that type of thing, with the walking off, because of the new WPBO rules and that type of thing. We're trying to stay with those rules, except for when firearms law overrules.
Okay.
That's the only time that the rules are being changed. So so we're getting that. It's not as bad as it used to be.
And then you mentioned that you have to have a firearms license to be able to purchase a paintball marker as well.
Yes.
So if you don't, can you leave a marker at a field and come play at that field with that marker?
Yes, yeah, because every field is a dealer.
Okay.
So that you can say, for instance, I want to buy a gun, but I don't have a license, and you'll just pay them a fee to actually
More of a rental or a lease
or
type thing?
to store your gun. You buy the gun, but they'll store it there on their license and all that, and have it locked up, and you can come use it, that type of thing. But most people, I find, eventually will get their license unless they're really lazy. I know a couple of lazy ones.
Well, I mean, I could see, unless you're going to play at the same place every time, you're going to want to be able to take your gun different places, or it becomes a rental issue every time you go to play. And,
correct.
Who knows what you're going to get every time that way.
Tasmania, down the bottom of Australia, have only just gotten paintball legal again, and that they hadn't had paintball down there in years. Years and years.
Cannibalism still legal, just got paintball.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So now that's
sense.
like for them. Where you go to the other extreme, I need to confirm it. We keep on getting told that is what is happening, but there's no one really up there for us to ask. But in the Northern Territory, you're not allowed to take your goggles home.
No, really. That's interesting.
So you can buy goggles, you can have dyes or whatever you want to use. They stay at the field.
Really?
You can't take them home.
But we were talking last night a bit about, you have to have a license to even race motorcycles or race cars, or you have to, so do you have to have a license to go fishing? And
Yes, yeah. Saltwater or freshwater, you can buy that from any local petrol station or gas station. Go in there and you pay your fee.
That's standard here. Yeah.
But you can't go into any petrol station or gas station here anymore.
We can go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart.
You can buy anything at Walmart.
Yeah.
Anything at Walmart. Now on this great American adventure, I've actually grown some hair, which is pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking good. I love it, man.
Aussie boat.
I usually have to go all the way to Alabama to see a haircut like that. So.
Exactly.
Or just watch Joe Dirt.
And on that note, I'll become everything.
Nice.
The illusion
He's been waiting for that hat for a while now.
Exactly.
So
the illusion is broken. I'm done.
Yeah, the illusion is broken.
The love affair's over. You guys can't be ponytail brothers.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. There's only one true ponytail guy.
Yeah, right. Flame on.
Flame on.
So how long have you been in the States now?
Week, just over a week. So about a week and 3 days.
And this isn't your first trip here.
My first trip was to World Cup 2 years ago.
That's when
with
we
my
met.
team. Yes, when we met.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we met, hit it off, drank,
Yeah.
had fun.
Yeah, we had
a lot of fun.
But that was here for business in a sense, and
Exactly.
now this one's for.
So we flew in. About 5 days. Yeah, 5 days before World Cup. So what we did was I wanted to make sure that when we flew in, we weren't jet lagged, and B, not aware of the climate. So we got there about 5 or 6 days beforehand. We took a day off on the first day, went and grabbed our training paint. We got a ton of training paint, and we ended up going at Central Florida Paintball.
CFP?
Yep, CFP. And we trained there for 2 days in the heat. The first day we were sort of like and vomiting and couldn't get the water down, but we were still probably a bit jet lagged as well.
Yeah.
Second day was great. Then we had a couple of days to just relax, and a couple of the guys went to Universal and
Sightseeing, tour
sightseeing.
shit.
Yeah. Macca and myself, my mate Macca and I went up to Daytona, went to the racetrack, and then went down to the beach and had a bit of a meal down there. And the day after that, I went down to NASA and just chilled out there just to clear my head and had a look around there. And then we started playing World Cup, and the World Cup we flew back on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
So didn't want to fly back on the Monday and.
Yeah, why put any pressure on it, right?
Yeah, our legs and shit like that.
It's a good call to climatize. Give yourself some time to adjust.
Yeah. Like there was another team that come out to World Cup last year, and like they landed, I think, a day and a half before
with an empty tank. Yeah,
with an empty tank. I thought, no, you got to get out there. You got to train in the heat, get used to it, and get used to the pace of the teams that you're playing. Because we went out there and we entered our team in Division 4. And we were actually training against Division 3 and Division 2 teams.
Okay.
So and we were putting it up to them, winning a lot of points and stuff like that. And we thought we've got to do that type of thing. But the style of play between Australia and the US is just totally different. Totally different. It's a different ball game. Like when we were actually playing in the prelims, we had one team we come against, and they were young kids, and we're talking 14.
Yeah.
The whole team was like 14 or 15-year-old kids, and they were playing some really hard paintball all weekend, and they were coming fast. When we were all looking at each other in the pits, going, "How in the hell are they getting through our lanes?"
They're small, they're young, got wheels,
small, and they've got some heavy wheels on them, so we need to pull our finger out. And that was the hardest game we played all weekend with these kids. Yeah. They gave us a bloody hard match.
Yeah, well, that goes right back to what we were saying, where it sucks that you can't even start playing till you're 14 or 16.
And that's the hardest thing. And so it's one thing that we always go back to with when we talk to people in Australia about it, and that is that with Australia, like we've got 16, 17-year-old kids out there playing paintball and getting used to it. There's kids in America or other countries as well that have had 5 years of head start on them. Yeah. And we're playing catch up. And it shows when we come across and we're playing other teams and all that. Yeah, we're coming across and we're giving it a good go, but there is a difference.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are, kudos to you, sir, for being one of the guys in the forefront and trying to push and keep the sport and build the sport in your country. Because you got a lot of hurdles to even try and compete. So many. Between gun licenses, expensive paint, not being able to play until you're 16 years old, and not to sound crass or anything, but 16 years old, these kids are also finally getting to notice girls and shit like that. They're
exactly.
And you don't know how many great paintball players I've lost to vagina. It's not even. It's not.
And not just 16 right through the 22.
Yeah. The 14 to 25-year-old guys. We're serious. We're in love. Okay, cool, great. Then they break up. Okay, I'm back. I'm ready to play some great paintball.
So how is it perceived when American players come down there and? When your Ryan Greenspans and your
Marcellos and all those type of guys.
And all them come down.
Look, they're great guys. I know them all. I've known them all for a fair few years now, and they're just normal everyday guys. But we stand on the sidelines and we watch them when they're playing at the Super Sevens, and it's some of the things they pull out, and you just stand there in awe and go, "Yeah, I've seen that on the webcast before." But he's just done it right in front of you.
Yeah, completely different to see it live.
That's and it's completely different. but on the field and that, whether you're playing against them or you're just watching them play and that, they're just normal guys, because when they come off the field, they are just normal guys. And most of I actually haven't found one yet that's come out to Australia and hopped on a team and played on a team in Australia that's been an arsehole. And has been like, I'm too good for you type of guys. I don't want to talk to you. And that every single one of them, happy to chat. Will come up to you without even, and start talking to you and that, and having a good time.
I mean, a lot of the, not so much back in the day, but nowadays a lot of the pros are much more personable. That's for sure. Especially the dynasty guys. They know the key, the key to keeping their machine moving is
dynasty has a really good formula, and they know how to. It was Ryan and all of them all know how to promote their product, and their product is dynasty. Okay, you got whether it be the gun deals and that hanging off the side of it. In the end, it's the actual brand name.
The Blue Dragon.
That's the Blue Dragon, man. And they promote it well.
Oh yeah. And they've done some amazing pickups. Like Marshmallow. I've known that kid since he was young. I actually played with his dad and his fucking older brother. That's how far back we go. And now to see him just crushing the world of paintball is amazing.
I love watching Marge play. He's all of a sudden you'll see him on the field and you go, he's got control of this, and the next thing you know, he's just changed the game.
You know how old it makes me now, because he's like one of the veterans on the fucking field. I'm like, good lord.
Veteran, how old?
I'm a fucking dinosaur. Jesus Christ. And then they got Blake Yarber, who's one of my buddies, who I was still playing, more for fun. I was playing tournaments, but just for fun at that
Blake's
time.
Blake's a nice guy.
But my God, the kid's got some game.
Blake's, he's out in Australia a fair bit. With the
he's also he's a traveler, wanderer. He loves it. So
he loves, where he's always got a new story where he's been, walking and hiking and stuff like that.
We were talking over the phone like a couple of months ago, and he's like, "You going on any motorcycle rides anytime?" I'm like, "Why? Did you get a bike?" He's like, "No, man, I'll just ride on the back of yours." I'm like, "Oh fuck, that could look a little awkward, man. How about you just bring the van and we'll do some kind of trade-off deal or something."
So, what was the inspiration for this trip out?
Oh, okay. Actually, a lot of things. My wife and I, Rebecca, when we got married, we actually had 2 kids already. So when we got married, we sort of didn't have the time or the funds, especially with 2 young kids, to be away and have a honeymoon. So this was like a honeymoon when we come over here. Originally, in my mind, I was actually hoping to have us over here for our 20th wedding anniversary. 2.5 years ago, I lost a brother. He passed away in his sleep overnight, and that sort of rocked me a little bit. And I thought, well, that's not right, because he's died way too young. And this year just passed, I lost another brother to a heart attack, and heart attacks not in the family. I had no history whatsoever. So in the end, I was actually sitting back and I just thought to myself, time's too fucking short. If I wait till 20-year anniversary, what's to say that next week I don't walk outside and some fucker runs me over and we never get the time we need?
Never get that opportunity.
So in the end, it was just a no-brainer. We're going.
So you flew into the East Coast, correct?
We landed at LA.
Oh, you landed in LA.
Yeah, we landed in LA and virtually hopped off the plane, got a rent-a-car, sat at the front of the T-Mobile, who I want to sponsor by eventually, T-Mobile shop, waiting for them to open, because God knows why in LA they don't open up shops until 10 o'clock in the morning. That's ridiculous. We're in Australia, it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. The shops are open. So we sat around killing time there. As soon as we did that, we drove straight down to Venice Beach, and then we drove up to Santa Monica and hung around there probably 2 to 3 hours too long. And from there, without any rest, we drove up to Pismo Beach, and we stayed the night at Pismo Beach. Mind you, we were meant to get there at 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon. We got there at just before 9 o'clock at night, and we were zombies by that time. So got up the next morning, and we continued on the drive for another 3.5 hours, and ended up in San Francisco for the weekend, which was cool. So much to see there, so much, and the weather was good right up until the evening before we were going to fly out. The rains come down, and that. So I didn't get to do Alcatraz because all the tickets were sold out.
Yeah, every time I go, it's sold out.
So we were told to wait until a certain time and then buy, and of course we did that, and they were already gone. But Beck and I walked the Golden Gate Bridge. Went across and then back and all that. So that was a brilliant walk on that bridge. That's beautiful looking.
Got to see Hayton Ashbury.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really good. So and then on the Monday morning we flew out to Vegas and stayed there for the whole week. And
it's okay. What happens in Vegas?
Yeah, right.
You don't get much sleep in Vegas, and when you do, it's not good sleep. Yeah. We probably stuffed up because we scored a room that had a look over the whole strip, and we're on the 39th floor. So as soon as we were going to bed and that, we turned the lights off and just opened up all the curtains just so we could lie in bed and just look at that beautiful scenery, because it's something we'd only ever seen on TV. Yeah. So to see it in real life, wow. So we do that, and of course, sun comes up really early in the morning there in Vegas, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we get woken up really early in the morning. But then we'd go out. We'd actually booked ourselves flat out to do stuff. Even the days we had spare, we just had so much we wanted to do in those days.
Yeah.
The time just went and just burnt up.
Yeah, this 2 weeks, you guys have been going hard. I know. Like, I didn't even bother trying to catch up with them. Like, they're going to be here soon enough. You know, we'll just let it ride, because I know you guys were just...
Yeah, we're flat out. Like, even on the Wednesday night, we were up at 5:30 in the morning, because at 6:30 in the morning we're being picked up to go to on a bus tour to the Grand Canyon. Nice. And that was an all-dayer.
Yeah.
We got back just on 5 o'clock, and we...
Oh, yeah, you went to the canyon from Vegas?
Yeah.
That's definitely an
all-day trip. Via Hoover Dam.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the Grand Canyon's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can see photos on the internet. You can see, in the movies and shit. Until you see it with your own eyes.
Until you see the ditch in person.
You cannot fathom it at all. No. Beck and I, we just stood there for a little while in awe of it and just went, wow, this is amazing. Yeah.
I mean, there's like, I know there's been like Indian tribes that just lived down inside there and everything came out of the motherfucker. You know, there's some amazing shit. The watering holes down there and waterfalls. Yeah.
I don't blame them. It's a beautiful countryside. Why would you want to come out?
Yeah, right.
To this shithole all around the world.
Now, one of the questions I asked you over lunch was, what was your biggest culture shock? You know,
the biggest, as I said, the biggest culture shock for me is the fact that I'd seen it a little bit before when I was in Orlando, but out here, especially on this side, how nice everyone is, which is the opposite of what we're told and what we're meant to believe from Americans. Please don't be offended. So a lot of people say, loudmouth Yanks or assholes and that. And everyone has been nice the whole way.
Oh, I'm an arrogant prick, but you'll
exactly,
love me. Yeah. You'll fucking love me.
Exactly.
I'm feeling a little triggered here.
Yeah, a little Gordy's triggered. But no, like as I was saying, like we're walking along Venice Beach and we're talking. Unless everyone who's been to Venice Beach would know what I'm talking about. It's just the people there are unique.
One of the best people watching spots on the planet. Yeah, by far, no doubt. And
we're walking along and my wife suddenly sneezed, and there's 3 or 4 different people of all different walks of life just turn around and say, "Bless you." You know, I said, every time she sneezed, because my wife seems to be sneezing a lot lately. Yeah. Bless you, bless you. Like coming out of the
freaking woodwork. Venice, it wasn't smog you were smelling in Venice.
I know, I know. It was actually easier to look for the people that weren't smoking than it was to look for who was actually smoking the stuff.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is, at least, you know, and this is just from what I can glean from the outside, is Australia actually seems like, even though they have some liberal ideas behind the gun laws and cutting all that kind of shit back, they're actually incredibly conservative, very reserved, you know, and I think that probably comes from the ties of the UK and the English background, right?
Yes,
you know?
it does.
And so to come to a place like California, especially since, I mean, the majority of your trip was spent here.
Yes.
That's got to be a huge culture shock to see how open and weird people are.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Yeah. Perfect example. We landed in, it might be a shock to people, not to anyone from America, of course. We landed in Vegas, and the first thing we did was we went down and picked up some tickets for the Penn and Teller show for the first night we were there. Great show, brilliant show. But we thought, we'll go into a bit of a walk down the strip, because we've got like 3-4 hours to kill and that. And we come across the place where they've got the big ass pizza slice, with the pepperoni, and we went and bought that. And I was just ready to take my first bite, and I was sticking it in my mouth, and this guy's come up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to buy some blow?" And I've gone, "Yeah, I was expecting a bit sooner than that."
Right.
And of course Beck's gone, "What Tuesday, what? He's trying to sell me cocaine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every cab driver, every limo driver, every doorman will sell you cocaine. Just so you know, it's everywhere. Yeah. And I just ratted out all those guys. you got to know.
Get ready for the raids, boys.
Yeah, you got to know the code words, though, right? So, I'm not going to divulge any of that information.
You're going to be. Guess what? You're going to see a lack of limo and taxi drivers in Vegas for the next 3 weeks.
Right. It's going to be all Uber.
It's going to be a ghost town.
All Uber.
But like in the end, like we were doing that much. Even like just walking. Tuesday and Thursday we actually had, it was 3 days, and we just walked the streets and have a look inside each casino, which is amazing in itself. The amount of money that is spent, the architecture in there is unbelievable. Just walking the strips and the hours, of course, are burning up. And in the end, Beck and I were joking to each other, we should have taken the offer of that cocaine, because there's no way we're just burning out so fast.
Need some energy, right?
We need some energy.
Yeah.
We're too old for this shit.
So fast forward, you come down here and you get the MDP reception.
Yeah. What a great night that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys sitting around having a ball, putting silly heads on our cells and
Right.
dancing around fires and
Nothing like getting weird.
exactly.
I love it.
How was the reception meeting your MDP
Fantastic,
family?
man.
In the States.
Yeah. The thing is, like, even though some of us had met for the first time, it didn't matter. It was just like we knew each other already. Yeah. That's the best part about MDP.
Yeah.
It's a family.
Yeah.
It is a true family.
We managed to keep a pretty good vibe going, and I think
Yeah.
we'll keep that going. It's always quality over quantity, and
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
get people
And
who can.
I'll take that any day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So tell us your MDP story. How did you come into the fold?
Virtually when I met this guy. Yeah. I actually tell a lie. I actually watched a few things of MDP beforehand, seeing what the guys were doing. Didn't really know much about it. Read up a bit more about it, and just after I got back from World Cup and that, and I was talking to the trucker and all that, I'd spoken to Rocky a little bit before, and I just said, "Hey, dude, I'm actually sort of keen on MDP and becoming a part of it and all that." And it just went on from there. I think the earliest thing I ever seen from MDP was the waterfall interviews.
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
That was a classic. That was a good one. That goes way back. But that actually had to go away, and we brought it back. So we ended up with some.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but I was the one that actually interviewed you.
Oh, were you?
Well, he probably just now putting it together. But
Yes.
So, there
Yeah.
you go.
There you go.
So you've been MDP now for a year and a half?
Year and a half, yeah.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
And so you get this phone call, and if I remember correctly, we Skyped or something like that.
It was a terrible connection, though.
Yeah, it was a terrible connection. And
13,000 miles or some shit like
Yeah.
that.
You reckon they get their shit together?
You're getting this phone call from this guy saying, "Hey, this is Freestyle. I'm here. You want to be a pirate?"
Exactly. I've been worded up by a trucker and said, someone's going to give you a call soon. Oh, okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It went pretty fast from there.
Do you regret it yet?
No way, man. No way. Haven't regretted it. Haven't regretted the guys I've actually recruited on board. Yeah, they're both great guys.
Yeah.
One's one of my best mates. He's an awesome guy.
You've been helping get it going out there with Adam and Nate.
So tell us about the Australian version of the MVP.
We're pretty
Gotta include Murray.
Yeah,
He's on the other side of the
Yes.
world.
Well, technically, we're all so spread out. The closest ones is actually Macca and Ads. They're both in Queensland. Then there's me down in Victoria, and of course you got Murray out there in Western Australia. So we're pretty well spread. Getting more people on board, I really want to, but once again,
quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity every single time.
And since you guys are mostly criminals down there,
Exactly. Yeah.
It makes it that much tougher, right?
Yeah, we got to do background checks and shit like that. And it all just lights up way back to the 1800s. Fuck. The other thing is
we need DNA.
Ancestry.com, a great way of testing it. No, you fuckers can't get on.
Does that exclude New Zealand and
Tasmania? New Zealand. Yeah, okay.
So we will never get a member from New Zealand.
Oh, we got Ben Goodall. He lives here, but he's a Kiwi.
I just
and everybody calls him Australian. He fucking drives him nuts, dude.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. That's actually the best way to do it. Always torment him.
He's actually just got engaged. Congratulations, Ben.
Yes, Ben.
Got a baby on the way.
Oh wow.
He's never going back.
No.
He's never going back.
Life's changed forever now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we always take.
And then also he's had the Mexican food. So.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had that today.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The thing is, like with New Zealand, it's not that far. It's only a 3-hour flight for us, to get across there. New Zealand is almost like Australia, the landscape, that type of thing. We all get along. We've fought side by side in wars and things like that, along with the US. Yeah. But we always like to take the piss out of each other. Now, the funny thing is, if anything good comes from New Zealand, Australia will claim it.
Yeah.
That includes rock bands, the name of or actors. Oh, he's Australian, yeah. But if he fucks up, that New Zealander.
Yeah, right.
We'll send him over as fast as you look at him. Yeah, but we always.
So if you fuck up, we get to call you a New Zealander.
Exactly.
So is there any now that you've had the 2 weeks here, is there any weird phrasing or way people say things to you here? Just like how you say "take the piss," and most people here wouldn't know that means you're getting drunk, right?
Exactly.
And is there anything that you hear us say that you're just like, what the fuck did they mean by that?
No, because I think because the last time I was here, I actually picked up on a lot of the stuff. So what I'm hearing now is just not really. Yeah, it's no different. I haven't had to say, "Hang on, what the hell are you fucking talking about?" type thing. Where I've had people say, "What?" when I'm saying something, or I find it happened more in Orlando when I was talking. All of a sudden, people just get their blank look on their face, and that's realizing that I've always been told that sometimes Australians talk too fast with our accent, and everything just blurs in. Yeah, and that keep the vent. Yeah, he's a funny prick. Oh. he was out for Masters last year, and a couple of times I was talking. All of a sudden he's and all of a sudden this blank look just appeared on his face. I went, "You don't understand a fucking word I said then." And he goes, "No, you lost me back there." That's awesome. So I had to retell. I'll speak slower.
All right. So what I've been dying to ask: what is a good Australian joke? Full Australian joke that we probably would never understand.
I know you would understand it. Is this PG-13?
Yeah, we were allowed to say whatever the fuck we want. Okay. See, I just said fuck.
Okay. So many. The thing with Australian jokes is a lot of Australian jokes are on other people in other countries. So
we love it.
You'd love it? Okay. Yeah. Well, you can say this.
We definitely don't do PC here, so
Cool. Yeah. What do you?
Are you saying
and here he is. He's trying to massage it already.
Are you saying when we say Pollock jokes and stuff like that? Or,
yeah. Okay. How can you tell when a kiwi's been in your fridge? There's love bites on the leg of lamb.
There's a lot. That was so fast, but you got phrasing.
There's love bites on the leg of lamb.
There's love bites on the leg of lamb.
Yeah. Because there's always a joke that kiwis are cheap.
Yeah.
So that's the one I always tell a Kiwi that really sort of fires them up is, what do you call a sheep in a Kiwi's front yard? I ride on lawnmower. That always fires them up.
The mistress.
Yes. Yes.
So you've done this trip. Are you guys already planning another trip to California or to the U.S. at all? Or got other hot spots you want to see on the planet?
Realistically, I would like to see New York.
Okay.
Washington, that would be places I'd like to see. Mm-hmm. So I can say now I've seen that as well. Beck and I have always said that eventually, when we get the chance and when the kids are grown up,
everything lines up.
All the planets align. We want to come back and I want to ride Route 66.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Yeah. Take our time going across there, and if it coincides with Sturgis and all that, and we detour off the Sturgis,
it'd be great if we could put something together. We all get to hang out and do some rides.
About the 80th.
Yeah.
In fact, you should probably announce that we're going to go.
Yeah, 2020, MDP will be back in Sturgis for the 80th. So anybody who wants to get in on that, start signing up and getting on board and talking to us now. Whether you're going to join the MDP and be part of it, or just come along for the ride. Let us know. Get on our forums. All that fun
you don't have to go there by bike. You can drive there.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely don't have to do the motorcycle thing. There's plenty to do. The hikes there, like you did a little hike here at our preserve, and
that was awesome today.
They've been doing some hiking, and they like to do wilderness hiking, and there's a ton of that out that way.
Yeah.
There's so much good shit out that way. So.
Yeah, like I want to see because Rushmore's not that far away from there as well, about half an hour or so. Isn't it?
Yeah, 40 minutes.
That's another.
Yep.
What do you call bucket list thing? Go see that. Yeah, I'd like to see a lot of Australia too. You know, surprisingly, most Australians don't see Love Australia because a perfect example. For instance, if I was to fly from Melbourne to Western Australia, just to go see an MDP member,
Right.
it's actually cheaper for me to fly to New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Return. Yeah, it's cheaper for me to, instead of going to the Northern Territory or the top of Queensland, it's cheaper for me to fly to Phuket.
That's so
and then fly
weird.
back. Yeah, the flights are dear. The dearest flights are actually to the middle of the Northern Territory, in the middle of Australia, to the Ayers Rock. Uluru. Yeah, Ayers Rock. So,
The what?
They call it Uluru. That's the Aboriginal term for Ayers Rock.
Is that big red mountain?
That big red rock in the middle of Australia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that big sucker. But they've locked it off now. You're not allowed to do walks on it anymore.
All right.
You can go see it, you just can't walk up to the top.
That's the one that looks like a giant mushroom or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, big long.
And there's like all kinds of weird magnetic field disturbances all around it, dead zones, all that crazy shit. Is that all real, or is that just made up for TV and bullshit?
I'll let you know if I ever get there.
You haven't got there yet.
I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
Furthest I've gone is Melbourne, Adelaide, Sydney, Queensland,
Okay.
up to Rockhampton and all that. So yeah, and the best part is I've played paintball in a lot of states as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but like when Tanner was 13, going on 14, yeah, he was still not legal to play paintball, but in South Australia, Adelaide, they had a legal limit of 10. So for his birthday, Rebecca and I, the youngest one, Caden, threw Tanner in the car and we drove across to South Australia, pre-set it up, and we did a training thing at in South Australia for him. So he actually got to play in South Australia legally when he couldn't play legal in Victoria.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he got to shoot. I actually did a run for him so he could shoot his old man and all that type of thing. So he
Gave him a moving target.
Oh yeah, he actually thought it was good shooting me with my own gun.
Oh, I bet.
That's the best part of it. Yeah,
That's some of the best.
So do you do anything else besides run the shop and play some paintball?
Walking. I like hiking. Yeah, if the wife and I actually our planets align and we're both not working at the time, we'll go for a 5-10 kilometer walk. Yeah, if we can.
I didn't even think we should have had her in here to sit down and talk. I don't know if she would have wanted to, but it would more than happy. Yeah.
The girls are doing their...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got into the margaritas.
I always try and get the girls to come here. I try and get them to do their own podcast, try and get them to... And they never... I'm like, you silly bitches will sit around and talk for fucking 9 hours without microphones.
Yeah.
But we turn on microphones and all of a sudden there's crickets, Like, this is bullshit, Like, we got people, we got family all over the world that want to hear this shit.
Exactly.
Know about how weird we are. Yeah. So let's do this. Matter of fact, I am wearing an Australian rules football scarf for.
Now, anyone in Australia, half of you will like it, and the other half will think I'm an arsehole for giving it to him because you either love Collingwood or you hate him. There's no in fucking between us. But get stuffed. I gave it to him.
Is that where they
I'm a 15-year member.
Yeah, no, that's cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Aussie rules football. Yeah, so my team's either you love them or you hate them type thing. So my theory is I love the fact that people hate them.
We might have to have you translate all of that you just said because
you can understand
no sense
it all. Exactly. Yeah, we'll put little captions underneath it later on.
Oh,
I'll write it all down for you.
So we know the motorcycle things on your hit list. You would mention that you might actually buy the bike here and send it home.
Yes, yeah, it's cheaper.
Really?
Yeah, it's when I looked at it a few years ago. It just suddenly popped in my head. I was talking to one of the paintballers years ago, who's no longer in the sport, unfortunately, but. We were chatting, and he was working in Melbourne, and he said, "Oh, I missed out on a free trip, a free ride across the Route 66 on a Harley." I went, "Oh, how?" He said, "Because I'm next door to the Harley Davidson joint." And he said they had a group going across. If I paid the airfares and everything, they'd, he could hook me up for a bike and ride that thing. I said, "You're fucking lucky." And I thought, I'll just check out how much it costs and everything, and it was like $4,500 US for me to ride the bike. Which is I pick whichever bike I want to ride. They supply the fuel. They supply the night's accommodation every night and the breakfast.
Package deal.
Yeah, but you got to buy your own lunch and dinner.
Okay.
For my wife Rebecca to be on the back of the bike is $3,500 for the accommodation and the food and everything like that, and the fact that she's on the bike. Sorry about that.
No,
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
In the filter.
It'll wake everybody up.
Exactly. They were starting to fall asleep there for a second. We're talking about Collingwood. So.
Hey, no footsies.
Yeah, and I actually thought $4,500, $3,500. Well, there's $8,000. You can, and I actually went online and had a look at some of the bikes that were for sale in the US, and I've gone, some fucking good bikes for $8,000 sitting here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Awesome bikes. And I'm thinking, well, why would in the hell would I want to hire a bike and give it back to the guy at the end when I can actually buy the fucking thing, ride it, and then ship it home?
Yeah.
So then I started looking into shipping it home, and it was just over $2,500 to get it back to Australia and in my name.
Yeah, they're not bad.
And I went, I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that and actually own the thing when I get back there.
So it's on the hit list.
So that's just another thing on the hit list, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. So, we were telling you about Wasteland Weekend. This year, MDP is going to invade Wasteland Weekend, which is a post-apocalyptic Mad Max inspired week.
I'm just going to listen to this podcast over and over and finally mimic his accent and use it the whole week and just annoy the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
So
I don't have an accent. You've got the accent.
Yeah, well,
so
tell yourself that.
Exactly.
Mad Max and the Road Warrior and cosplay culture is really big here in the United States.
Okay.
How big is Mad Max in Australia?
No.
How big is, let's say, cosplay in Australia?
Cosplay is getting bigger. It's showing up more and more.
More on the anime side, though, type stuff, right?
Yeah. It's still not as big, and I think that if you really look at our population to how many there is in Australia doing cosplay, on a ratio, you're probably around the same as the US, but because we're a smaller population, the numbers are smaller. Same as paintball.
Okay.
You know?
And the reason I'm bringing this up is you guys get our movies down there, and how much whether it be the new Deadpool movie coming out or whatever, how much influence does our culture?
Oh, a lot.
Come back to you guys.
A lot. Yeah, and they can say it doesn't, but it does with everything. Like even shit on the news. Sometimes I watch the news and I go, and they'll show something that's happened in America, and it could be the new way things are being done. Whether it be Tide Pods, as we were talking about earlier, or something rather, or even carjackings.
Just weird shit.
Shit, I sometimes look and go, why the fuck are you putting that on? I guarantee you, if in the next week we're going to hear about it's happening here in Australia, and lo and fucking behold, boom, there it is. And you're going, you dickheads.
The Mad Max thing was never had the following, and
it didn't. People enjoyed the Mad Max
but it was
1 and 2.
It was just a movie.
It was just
right?
a movie,
yeah,
but it was fantastic. I think people were more happy about the fact that it was taking off overseas and people were seeing Australia.
Yeah, Americana had a huge. So I was a Mad Max fan
freak.
like crazy as a kid.
Yeah.
I loved the whole post-apocalyptic scene and the fact that it was Australia, which a lot of people see as wild already, anyways.
Exactly. There's actually, I read up about this. There's one particular scene in Mad Max 1 is where the bike comes over the hill and there's the truck there and you see his eyes pop out.
Yeah.
They're actually real eyeballs in a dummy, and they've actually used pencils and pushed them forward to give them that effect as they're ready to pop out.
Wow. It's so goofy looking, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's freaky when you then when you watch the movie again, now that you know about it, you go, oh shit, yeah.
Don't they use it? And then don't they do it in the new movie just as like an homage to it? Because it's the same dude, the big bad boss in the new movie is the same guy on the bike from the very first movie. Yeah, so but he's 70 now, right?
Like going from a let's say obscure movie from like Mad Max for you guys, which is a decent hit for here.
Yep.
To Crocodile
Dundee.
You knew that was going to come out.
I knew that was going to come out. Yeah.
So how much is Paul Hogan a hero or anti-hero?
He's huge, and people can say, Paul Hogan, back in the days. I, as a kid growing up, used to watch the Paul Hogan show, and it used to be on once a week. I think it was on a Thursday or Friday night for about half an hour. And his comedy he had back then. I've actually watched some of the shows today, and there's not a hope in hell would it ever make TV today.
Like Benny Hill or something like that.
Politically incorrect. The girls are wearing bikinis. Their tits are really poking out. The ass cheeks are hanging out.
I had no idea he had that kind of show. Really.
Oh yeah. He had this, and just some funny stuff.
I thought he was a tour guide or like the Crocodile Hunter.
No.
He got a movie.
Like everyone knows, he started off. He was working on the bridge, painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge and things like that. And that was his job. He was painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Wow.
He knew someone at Channel 9, and he was brought on to do like this talk show thing, sidekick thing or whatever it was, and it just progressed from there. And he ended up having his own show.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the other people in the show, which was the guy who played Strop, I forget his name. He played his sidekick in the show, and that he was actually the brains behind Paul Hogan show, which was on TV, and also part of the brains behind Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and I was up in Queensland at the time, and because a lot of it was going to be recorded in Queensland at Movie World, things like that, or around that area, it was all over the radio. Anyone who was interested in being a part of the movie, as in putting money into it,
oh, really?
had the opportunity to buy shares in
So
the
they
movie.
did their own crowdfing all the way back then in the 80s.
They had
Shit. Wow.
They had no funding originally, and everyone's looked at it and gone, Crocodile, then it's stupid. America's not going to like that in the street.
Hey, I was all for when they were going to do that, reissue of Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. It was
April Fools.
Yeah,
it ended up being a commercial. But the thing was, like, they did that, and I was sitting there listening and thinking, well, anything that Paul Hogan's a part of, that'd be really cool. I'd be a part of it. And I didn't have any money at the time because I was just a young guy.
Yeah,
my wage was spent at the pub on a Friday night.
For sure.
So I had nothing on Monday mornings and all that. And today I kick myself of how much money that turned over. And every single person who put money in quadrupled their money like you wouldn't believe.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
you never know when those opportunities are going to present themselves. And who could have fucking forecasted that motherfucker?
Exactly. Like, I thought, okay, it's going to be big in Australia, but how big will it go? And it just went nuts overseas.
All right. So, well, since we're on this subject, Mel Gibson, national treasure,
yes.
Racist prick.
Yeah.
Both.
Exactly. We'll take the national treasure part because Mel Gibson, look, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's
actor, director, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done some great movies.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't get was the one where he did was Christ.
Oh yeah, I know.
Messiah.
What's that?
The Messiah.
No, it was
the something of Christ.
The something of Christ. Yeah.
But I don't remember what it was.
Well, I started watching it, but it was in a different language, and I just went,
Yeah, it was in ancient Arabic, and then I think Jim Caviezel plays Christ or something. I never saw the movie, but I know it was pretty weird. And
I started watching it. Yeah. The Passion of Christ.
The Passion of Christ.
Yeah,
right.
And that's when I went, not for me.
Yeah, I felt that way about Apocalyptica. Yeah. I saw that, and I was just like, I get where he was going.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to go there.
But I did love all the Lethal Weapon movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, God, that South African girl from the second one? Jesus.
Yeah. They actually, she was cute, wasn't she? Oh. But they actually reckon that there's a chance that they're maybe making another one.
Yeah, I saw something online.
They're actually, apparently the last stumbling block is they're trying to, the negotiations with Danny Glover.
Yeah?
The one who does... Okay.
Joe Pesci.
Really? Yeah, he's the one that's the stumbling block because they want him in there as well.
Yeah, I could see that. But, fuck, these guys are all 60 and 70 years old now, right? So,
exactly. Yeah, so they're just trying to negotiate that. But apparently, she's all go.
Yeah. How is, here in the States, celebrityism is rampant. You got people that are just going Google and Gaga over the latest movie stars and stuff like that. How is that with yours? You guys have that down there? Or with your actors and entertainers?
Yes and no. I know most people would probably, if they saw a famous celebrity would, I've got to go talk to him, something like that. Mm. I don't think we go quite as berserk in Australia.
Just by general, they're more reserved people. Right?
Yeah.
Conservative.
There's a lot more filmmaking going on.
I'll probably get me balls cut for this, but I personally believe that Australians are a bit anal with people who are successful. Yeah. And it's called tall poppy syndrome. Tall poppy syndrome. If someone gets too popular, too rich, too famous, too successful in life, we will cut them the fuck down. Yeah, and it's I've seen it many times before. I watched the media try and take out Kerry Packer, who was one of the most successful businessmen in Australia. Okay. In the television industry, that type of thing. He sat there with all his lawyers behind him and told them to shut up, and he'd take on the telecommunications tribunal themselves, and he made them look like dicks. Wow. Yeah, he didn't even have to talk to his solicitors behind him and all that type of thing. So there is a tall poppy syndrome, and we'll see it. All of a sudden someone gets really, really popular, and for some reason they'll try and dig up dirt on them straight away. There's got to be a fucking skeleton there somewhere.
Standard, yeah.
Yep, and they'll do it, and they'll keep thrashing it until they bring them back down to a level, because the last thing an Australian wants is someone to be fucking successful. I don't know why.
There's that English self-deprecation in there.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's that convict shit still coming out.
Yeah. So Russell Crowe, national treasure, or
No,
is
he's
he
fucking Kiwi.
Kiwi.
He's a fucking Kiwi. Yeah, he's got the sheep in the front yard.
That's the same with Wolverine, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's Kiwi.
No. Wolverine, he's
Hugh?
fucking Aussie through and through.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, no, he's cool.
Yeah.
Another example, like it was in the 80s, 84, I think. Australia 2 yacht won the America's Cup.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
The America's Cup is not really the America's Cup. The America's Cup was originally from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You guys won it and continued winning it ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I suppose you could rename it. And we come out with this fucking yacht with a modified keel that was within the rules,
Mm-hmm.
and that which just ended up when they first got here, it didn't fucking work properly. It just wasn't. It was slow. But then they realised how to use it halfway through the actual racing, and they ended up winning the America's Cup.
Yeah.
So then they come back. Now we thought they were all fucking legends. Now within 10 years, because they'd all made their money from whether it be from that yacht went all around Australia on the back of a truck. Getting fucking shown off everywhere. It was like the ultimate thing.
I remember when it was in the water here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had Alan Bond was the guy who financed it and all that to actually get it, to make it all happen, to get it there and all that. He was a class as a friggin' national treasure, legend and all that. He ended up buying He ended up buying Channel 9 Australia, the TV station. Probably one of Australia's most famous pubs, which was Young and Jackson's in Melbourne on the corner of Flinders Street Station. Bought all that, started selling his own beer because he ended up getting a beer and all that type of thing and running that. Within like 5 years, he was bankrupt.
Really?
Yeah. A funny thing was, I was talking about before, Kerry Packer owned Channel 9 when he was there. He sold, I think it was at the time, Channel 9 to Alan Bond for $60 million, right? Then, when Bond was going bust, he bought it back for $16 million. Yeah. Made a profit and got his company back.
I know some people have done that.
You know, today on our nature walk, you know, we were talking about
things that can kill you.
Well, the myth is, you know, Australia is a very dangerous place. With we saw Steve Irwin and the crocodile hunter, God bless him, you know, soul and everything.
Look at this, national treasure or Kiwi.
But you know, we'd see all these.
See, like I'd have so many enemies right now worldwide if I call him an absolute tosser.
But the kick was, you know, we go, you know, every time we go on it, he's like, there's a rattlesnake or whatnot, and he's yet to deliver on a rattlesnake.
I know, we're hoping for a rattlesnake. We've seen where they were. Yeah, we just missed one.
So the kick is everything we hear. You know, you got great 22 feet. You know, 22-foot great white sharks, or what is it?
Oh yeah,
7 meter great white sharks. And, you have, you know, some of the deadliest snakes and deadliest spiders.
Yeah, I think we got 7 of the 10 top deadliest snakes in the world.
But you're saying you rarely see them.
You rarely see them. You will come across the tigers and the black snakes. Black snakes aren't too bad. Copperheads kill tiger snakes, which are pretty good. So you leave copperheads alone; they won't attack you. They're docile. Tiger snakes.
Well, then it's not the same as the copperheads here, then, because the copperheads here are motherfuckers.
Yeah,
so.
No, they're mainly. If you got a copperhead around, you won't have a tiger snake anywhere near.
Okay.
Now, tiger snake. You said tiger snake, right? Or
it's got. You'll see it's got stripes on it, type thing.
But
you'll
that's
know
actually more poisonous,
nasty,
more aggressive
nasty as shit. Yeah, and then they're very aggressive. I had the pleasure. You can ask Devon about it. Devon Stutz. He'll talk about it all the time. We're actually stood on the tiger snake when we're playing paintball, and that was funny.
Luckily, you were standing on its head.
Exactly, I was standing on its head, and it's going berserk and all that. And that was a funny thing. If you go further up north, you got the real nasty ones. You got your taipans up in Queensland. They'll do you some real damage. They'll kill you real quick. And then of course the worst, your king browns. Okay. They're the worst of the worst in the world. Yeah. Besides that, you got the old famous drop bear.
Oh yes, koala.
Yeah, the drop bear. They come out and they're an offspring, and they'll kill you. They'll kill you.
What will?
The koalas.
The drop bears.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. They're bullshit. But we love fucking with Americans with the drop bear.
They are mean.
I remember him saying drop bear earlier. And
it's a shitty
drop
little
bears.
Fucker, that's for sure. We were playing with one at the zoo. He was not happy, but I still could pretty much fling him against the wall.
Yeah. But then again, I've been chased by a wombat too, so that's
right.
Yeah. They get bloody aggressive too when you get too close, and they don't want you around.
Now, for people to want to visit Australia, is there high security? Like, you got to have visas and whatnot, or
Yeah, virtually it's the same when we enter the US, the ESTA program. So you just go online and do your visa online type of thing. As long as you've got no criminal records, you're going to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny enough, you have to have no criminal record to get into a colony of criminals.
Yeah, right.
How weird is that? I think we're trying to slowly breed it out. Eventually,
It's not working.
it's not happening. Ain't happening at all. So yeah, no, we're pretty easy to get to.
Hard place to actually, like, if you wanted to immigrate to, though, it's really tough.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad because we've got to weed out the wankers.
Well, I mean, I like to bring this kind of subject up because, you know, that's a huge point of conflict in the States right now is, you know, immigration, and people want to be much more laxed on it, and they don't understand that, you know, when you create a place like this for all of its problems, and Australia is actually another great example of that.
Exactly.
It's fucking Disneyland, so people are going to want to get into Disneyland. They're going to want to get into Disneyland for free, and a lot of times they may not have the same kind of ideas or
Values.
that are going to keep that place like Disneyland, right?
Exactly.
Wait, do you guys have a Disneyland in Australia?
No, we have a movie world and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
movie world, dream world, and
Amusement parks.
yeah.
Movie World, is that along the lines of Universal Studios, something like that, or
Very small version. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, very small version.
Well,
So yeah.
again, you're dealing with a country the size of the United States with only the people from California, so in the whole
Exactly.
place. Yeah.
And I'm 100% behind what you guys are doing as in controlling your borders. You've got to do that. I mean, we've got to do that. You know, you just can't let anyone in. You don't know their history. You don't know their background. Yeah. There's been a lot of controversial talk in that in Australia over, they're just poor refugees and that. Well, some poor refugees a couple of years ago just left our country with, our country with his two sons. And there are photos of his sons holding up severed heads of the enemy. And these kids are like 10 and 12-year-old. And they're holding up men's severed heads and that. And now they want to come back to the country.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, some of the political parties are actually saying, "Oh, yeah, we should let them back in, and we can resettle them back in, and help them through with therapy and all that, and make it." They're never going to be the same again.
You know, it's funny because we get the world news, we got 24-hour news networks, and you're saying, from what we were talking about earlier, is you get a lot more U.S. news, and then we get from, let's say,
Well, I think
Australian
something
news.
a lot of Americans don't realize, like, I mean, I think they think from, and I hate to say it because I know I'm even guilty of it at one point in time, of a pompous point of view where the whole world's looking at us all the time, But you have to realize the whole world's looking at us all the fucking time. So when we're fucking up, they're watching that too.
The hardest part is, like, a lot of the TV news in Australia are somehow linked anally to some of the news crews out here in the US. So whatever bullshit
Pitching
they might
propaganda,
they'll push that propaganda straight to Australia. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing, I don't know anyone's political views, and I don't really care.
And we don't do politics or religion.
We don't do politics, but when I come to World Cup 2 years ago, that was on the eve of the election, right? Mm-hmm. We actually flew out the night of the count.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, which was really cool because we were actually halfway across back to Australia when they've announced that Trump won. Mm-hmm. When I got out here, what I heard back in Australia, when I got here and actually landed in Orlando, and after just being here for a day and a half, I rang my wife and said, Trump's going to smash this. Yeah. Because everything we've fucking heard in Australia is a lie.
Oh, yeah.
We were just getting told absolute bullshit. Mm. Really? Yeah. And I just couldn't believe the complete difference of what I was hearing here to what I was hearing back there. As far as we were concerned, that Trump has had no chance. He might as well just walked away. Long before. Well, and it doesn't matter about politics. But,
well, no, yeah. I mean,
I'm giving you an example.
All Trump is proof that our political system's broken, and all we could think to fix it was throw a giant wrench in the motherfucking works. And I mean, he's doing some good stuff for business. Don't get me wrong, but that's just proverbially that's the best way I could put it. Is it's like that machine's broken. Let's just fucking break it and finish it. So
the one thing I look at with him is I've actually sat back and no matter what the news says, because nearly every second day in Australia there's actually something on Trump's done this, Trump's done that, but it's always a twisted thing, and you go, that just sounds like total bullshit to me. And when you actually look at some of the other figures and you go, well, hang on a second. Your unemployment's down. Your economy's up. your country's worth this much more, and all of a sudden your exporting is exceeding your importing. That sounds fucking good to me.
Yeah.
And that actually sounds like a business being run correctly. And realistically, you look at it, I don't give a shit who's running the country. Your country is a fucking business. And you're dealing with other countries. You're not going to deal with another country to benefit the other country. You're going to do it to benefit your country.
It should be.
And that's the way it should be.
There should be some mutual understanding and some mutual beneficial. Otherwise,
all right. You help us do this, we'll help you do that, and we'll both benefit from it.
Right.
But in the long term, no matter what happens, you're still trying to make sure your country gets fucking well, or your business. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna go out there and buy a product and then sell it for a lesser quality. That's it. Lesser amount.
And I've said forever that the whole idea of one guy representing 335 million is the most absurd shit in the world. You know, if you want to give it a name and call it president, fine, whatever. But he's actually, he's putting business people in place because he's working with business people. And yes, sometimes business people are politicians, which fucking sucks. But what are you gonna do? We got to work with what we got. So
exactly,
not a lot of people are willing to. I'll sit here and lament and bash these motherfuckers all day long. You ain't gonna get me doing the job. Fuck
exactly.
No. So,
changing gears. So what's next for you? Long term, short term, everything in between.
Short term.
Well, they're only here for another day and a half, something like that.
3 days. 3 days. So finish off our holiday. Fly back to Australia. Recover over the weekend, and then head straight to work on Monday. So not
heading up to LA tomorrow, right?
Yeah, LA, Hollywood. Gonna
Skid Row.
Yeah, go look at Skid Row. And
I told him, he's like, I didn't really see any homeless people. I'm like, I got an address for you.
Yeah, he's got an address.
If I wasn't working tomorrow, I'd give him the sites.
Yeah. So, a few other things haven't really. We're doing it by ear at the moment. We sort of want to relax the last few days, but at the same point, we still want to see the most we possibly can.
Yeah. Well, pace yourself and just do it.
Exactly.
Shit, you guys have already got so much in.
Oh, yeah. We've done so much in a short period of time. We're probably going to use the plane ride home to recover.
Yeah. That would be a good, 13-hour ride, some shit like that.
Yeah,
right? So.
Exactly. Like last time I was out here in Orlando, in the end, I slept, I think, about 10 of the 15-hour flight home.
Nice.
Yeah. Just because we're just so exhausted. It wasn't just exhausted from playing paintball. It was just like we crammed so much in. Even though we got there so early, we never had time to really relax. It was like go. We got to do this. We got to do that type of thing. So, yeah, it was good to actually just sleep on the plane and recover. Yeah. So there you go.
Well,
so we need to look at getting a hold of that webpage in Australia, Facebook.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about that too.
Yeah, we need to get that going. The MDP Facebook in Australia. We got to get that back and get it running right. We actually got several things I wanted to talk to you about.
Sweet.
We're not going to do that on here.
So. I know.
You guys will learn about it later.
Yes. Is there anything you want to say in closing? Or throw out there in closing?
Anyone that is an MDP, if you know anyone that's worthy of becoming part of the order, hook them up. Anyone who's not a part of the MDP and you want to learn a bit more, jump on the website and check it out. We're great guys. It's a great thing.
It's a big international family.
Yep, we're all around the world.
Total bunch of retards, but and I think in some states it's like a misdemeanor now to use that word. So
there's that PC thing again.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate you doing this. I'm so glad you came here and visited us.
Thank you.
But
also thank you to yourself and Rachel for putting us up. When I said I wanted to come down to San Diego and have a look around, hey, where's a cheap place and all that, and you instantly said, hey, come stay with us.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And myself and my wife, thank you very much for opening up your home, and especially the party last night. Had a ball. Nice. We broke porno, apparently. So
you can always count on porno to break himself.
Yeah, we broke Rabbit too.
Because porno was supposed to be sitting in on this as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You see, so where are you, mate?
Yeah.
And Rocky's so lucky he didn't turn up because it would have broken him too.
Yeah.
But he's here in spirit.
He's here. The prettier Rocky's here.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying and sitting in. I know you got a fucking 2-hour drive to get home, and that's if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
We do these when we can, and this was one that we got to get in, so I hope you all enjoy it. Until next time, MDP for life, motherfuckers. Peace out. Yay!
Well done.
You survived.
That
Look
was
at that,
easy.
right at an hour. Perfect.
That's perfect. That was easy.
That was by accident.
Love it.